Next on Startup, we travel to Atlanta, Georgia to talk to Luke, a self-proclaimed serial entrepreneur who started Sack Daddies, a new seafood restaurant concept based off of family legacy. Then we're gonna swing by Louisville, Kentucky to talk to Heather, a theater lover and costume designer who created Custom Wig Company, a business that makes handcrafted wigs for people all over the world. All of this and more is next on Startup.
It all starts with an idea, and everyone has them. In the world of business, where you choose to take your idea determines where your idea will take you. Baker College is proud to support Startup and those who dare to share their ideas with the world.
The American small business was built on one thing: relationships. And every time a customer walks through the door, a new one begins. Pay Anywhere was built to help entrepreneurs do what they do best. So keep loving what you do. Just get paid for it. Pay Anywhere.
The Chevrolet Volt, an everyday electric car with gas for longer trips. The nature of things to come. Chevrolet, find new roads.
American Express is proud to support Startup and the millions of small businesses that put in the hard work to be open for business in neighborhoods across the country.
My name is Gary Brado, and I'm a documentary filmmaker and an entrepreneur. The economy is in less than perfect shape, and when the jobs go away, there's nothing left to do but get up and get creative. And there are people all over America doing just that. It's estimated that up to 85% of new businesses fail. So I'm going coast to coast to hear the personal stories of the people who beat the odds and started a successful business from the ground up. This is Startup. I'm on Webster in Washington, in Louisville, Kentucky. And we're gonna go talk to Heather, who created Custom Wig Company. After trying her luck in corporate America, Heather realized that she just didn't quite fit in. So she took her interest in custom wig making and is turning it into a global business. Let's go hear her story. The ancient Egyptians wore wigs after having to shave their heads due to bug infestations. During this time, wigs became an indication of social status and were often kept in place with beeswax and resin. Today, wigs are typically worn on special occasions, events, or parties, and even the red carpet. Heather Fleming had always been into theater and costume design, and after taking on a traditional corporate job, she decided to turn her passion for wig making into a sustainable business. Okay, so start by telling us who you are, a little bit about your background.
I grew up in a little town in Illinois, in the middle of nowhere, called Pana. And I went to the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign to take a master's degree in costume technology and shop management. And I then spent the next 8 years working in regional theaters across the country before forming a company to make wigs for interpreters, Santas, actors, reenactors, anyone who needs hair goods.
This had to be something that you were interested in maybe from childhood or something? Like, what made you want to go into costume technology?
I discovered that I didn't like a lot of the jobs in theater, but I really liked costumes and dressing people and figuring out what people would be wearing in certain times and places. And I also really liked costume history, how we've dressed through the ages. I came to Louisville to work at Actors Theater of Louisville in the same position, working as their wig designer. And during that interval, I also started picking up freelance work, doing things like Santas or something else specialized someone would need. And at first, it was just a lucrative and fun side business for me. But as it kept growing, I realized that it would be really great for me to stop working in theater full time and to open a company and start doing that and focusing on high quality hair goods for people.
So is wig making, is this a competitive industry? I mean, are there wig shops all over the country?
We gather once a year and we fight to the death for prominence in the field. No, we don't. There aren't as many people who build for non-theater or non-film or non-effects things like we do. And so in that sense, we're very fortunate in that there's not a huge competitive field to break into, which has certainly been an advantage.
How many wigs does it take to cover your expenses, your hard expenses?
Boy, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of it in terms of wigs. Obviously, like anything else, we have a labor and a material cost in it. Labor is by far, in most cases, the higher cost because everything's made by hand. It takes anywhere between 15 to 40 hours to tie a wig, depending on the wig and the scale of it and the length, the hair. Gets
Is
more
it human
expensive.
hair
It's
you're
mostly
using?
human hair. We do some synthetic pieces. Generally, we use human hair.
Okay.
The longer the hair is, the more expensive it is. The higher quality the hair, the more expensive it is. And that's why I say it's so custom. We generally need to book 4 to 6 clients over about a 10-day period. It's about how it averages out. And it's funny because like any other business, we will go a week with nothing, and then we'll book 4 clients in 2 days. It's really scary, and it's those moments when you have to remind yourself, okay, 2 days ago, you booked 3 clients. So it's okay that the phone isn't ringing today. It's just a matter of averages. But it's really hard some days to remind yourself. It's all about the average. It's all about the bigger picture. I actually keep our client board written up on the wall so I can see it, so I can remind myself of like what we have going on, where it's going, when it needs to be out the door, and to remind myself, like, no, we're doing this. This is great.
Hiring employees is always kind of a scary subject for people to approach.
Definitely.
What is your story about bringing on people for help?
Well, I was actually so lucky. I taught workshops in a lot of universities while I was still employed in theater. And I went to Michigan State University and I went to West Virginia University. And in both places, I met 2 different women named Hannah, who were students. And in both places, I discovered that each of these Hannahs was very, very good at tying knots and making wigs. And I thought, well, this is excellent. So I had these 2 wonderful, talented women who were willing to look at me when I said, I think I'm going to start a business and do this, and say, okay, instead of saying, are you crazy? Why would you do that?
So which Hannah are you?
I'm Hannah Wold, the tall Hannah.
Tall Hannah? Is that what you're known as, Tall Hannah?
Also Hannah Maximus.
What type of patience does it take to go hair by hair to make a wig?
Learning to tie knots was literally the hardest thing I've ever learned how to do. Not everyone's as slow as I was. I was just on the...
You're slow Hannah.
Slow, that's what I am. I'm slow Hannah. And actually, other Hannah did learn quite fast, so she's fast Hannah.
Fast Hannah
We
and
have
slow
quick
Hannah.
Hannah and slow Hannah. Oh.
So the other Hannah was talking a bunch of smack about you.
Yeah, well, typical.
What goes into tying?
It is just, it's so tiny
Yeah.
that it can be really, really hard to get that little tiny motion just right.
Yeah.
It's really easy to break a hair or just miss entirely or have it fall off the hook if you don't have the tension right.
The most expensive wig ever sold at an auction was the one that belonged to Andy Warhol. The wig was sold for an astonishing $10,800. So now for the big question.
Oh.
What does Santa Claus mean to you?
Santa Claus means to me that we get to help a lot of individuals in the course of 1 year do something that's actually pretty important and pretty pivotal to a whole lot of kids and families. And I'm so delighted that the Santas found me, that they started coming to me, and then one Santa would tell another Santa.
Did you leave cookies and milk outside the building?
Not yet, but I may try that this year. Truly, we did 33 Santa pieces last year total.
$500-600 roughly, 1,000.
Santa sets are anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000 depending on the set. Because there's a lot of hair in them, there's a lot of work in them.
Yeah.
It's a wig and a beard and a mustache.
It looks complicated.
It's complicated.
And you said tying
we
wigs,
tie
so
every hair in.
Every hair?
Every hair, one at a time. Well, 1 or 2 at a time.
Can you give me a rough estimate on what it took? What did it cost for you to open this business?
Boy, that's a really great question. Probably $5,000 to $10,000, spread out over a few years' time.
And that was completely self-funded, I would assume?
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys do here?
Our job is to interpret people and events throughout history. First person or secondary accounts of people or events in history, letters, personal accounts and things like that. One of Heather's wigs is my Buffalo Bill wig. This is a little ratty right now, but you know, as you can tell,
yeah.
I'm not this color.
Right.
But you put this on, and then you put the goatee and the mustache, and things just change.
What's the quality of these wigs that Heather does?
Oh, it's ridiculous. I mean, she's amazing. What's beautiful about it is the venting, is all of this.
What is venting?
Well, this right here, this material.
Okay.
This little mesh
it's
material.
The actual cap that goes on, yeah.
That's the thing that fits, and all of this is hand sewn, you know, and it's human hair, so it's really, really gorgeous. She's a wonderful woman, you know. She's great to work with. She's very accommodating, and she'll do anything, you know, to make it work.
What would you say to another person who's sitting at home and they're watching this and maybe they're working somewhere and want to split off and do something similar in their field, or they just have a harebrained idea that they want to do something different and unique? What's your advice to them?
My advice would be to do your homework, honestly. Research the field. It's not enough to just say, oh, I want to make wigs. It's, well, okay, but what's the market for those wigs? How much realistically can I earn doing those wigs for people? What's the client base? How competitive is the market?
So just going in with your eyes wide open, basically.
Open, yep. And it's gonna be so hard and so rewarding, and you'll probably never sleep well again, or at least you won't sleep as well. But the trade-off is that when you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't sleep because you're worrying about something or the other, it's all for your own, you're building something from it.
More wigs were made for the film The Two Towers, the second Lord of the Rings film, than any other film in history. Okay, so let's do some wig shopping here. I need to find something that'll work well for me. So what do you think would be the best wig for me?
We have a lovely Elizabethan wig here. If you want to try out your best Queen Elizabeth impersonation, we could do this for you. We created this for a woman who has made a replica dress from a 16th century painting.
So this whole thing is done by looking at photos online and replicating?
Yeah, we have a bunch of research from the era, all primary sources. We work off of that, and we create something that will work on the client as well as be of the era.
And then this Amadeus?
Amadeus.
Is it really, or is it Santa?
No, it's a Santa. But it's Amadeus if you want it to be Amadeus. Okay. You want to try it on?
Yeah, absolutely. Can I put this one on?
You can put it on.
Okay, perfect.
Take a deep breath. This won't hurt badly. Great. Well, I think we can all agree that this is...
Is this the look for me?
This is the look for you right here.
Thick, luxurious head of white hair.
Now you know what it's like.
This is my dream.
You're living the dream.
This is called what? Orangey?
Yeah, that's another option for you.
Okay.
See, this might be a little bit more your color.
This one fits perfect. Oh, it feels good too.
Like it was made for you.
I feel very free wearing this for some reason.
Okay. Let's see, maybe this is a little more to your liking.
Yes.
This is a little more grand.
Yeah, and I feel luxurious.
You should.
I really do. So is it kind of like a pompadour, like a
it's
50s kind of look?
It's 1750s maybe, not 1950s.
So Heather, thank you so much for having me in today. I think this is the one that I want. Great. Absolutely. Do you think it's going to work for like a day-to-day, everyday type of thing? Or?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for inviting us and letting us invade your space. I think you have an incredible business here, and look forward to seeing what you do in the future.
Great. Thank you so much.
There are a million ways to start a business, but how did Heather do it? Let's find out. She started out with around $5,000 in the bank and had a credit score of over 700. She only spent around $7,000 total to open up her business, and she profited an astounding $35,000 in her first year. The business was completely self-financed, and the word that Heather uses to describe what it takes to make it in business is gumption. Although opening a small business can get pretty hairy, Heather took the time to get to the root of her industry, and she didn't wig out when times got tough. Looks to me like Heather found a way to weave her passion into profits. For more information, log on to our website and click the link for Custom Wig Company.
So I think if you're an entrepreneur, you really know in your gut that you're an entrepreneur. I've really known since I was little, I was always building, I was always creating, and I get really excited to try to build infrastructure and to create and solve problems. And the most important thing you can do as an entrepreneur is know that you are one, figure out what you're really, really passionate about, that you're willing to literally live and breathe about, because that's what it is and that's what it means to be an entrepreneur, and then go do it.
Next time on Startup, we head to Cedar Rapids, Iowa to talk to Steve and Andrea, a husband and wife team who created EcoLips, a B corporation that creates organic lip balm. Then we head over to Birmingham, Alabama to talk to Selena, a highly motivated entrepreneur who started Sarcor, a civil engineering firm that's helping to redesign local communities. Be sure to join us next time on Startup.
That's another option for you.
Okay.
See, this might be a little bit more your color.
This one fits perfect. Oh, it feels good too.
Like it was made for you.
I feel very free.
What? So I know we're on opposite sides of the fence, but why do you always gotta balk about what you do, huh?
American Express is proud to support startup and the millions of small businesses that put in the hard work to be open for business in neighborhoods across the country.
The Chevrolet Volt, an everyday electric car with gas for longer trips. The nature of things to come. Chevrolet, find new roads.
The American small business was built on one thing: relationships. And every time a customer walks through the door, a new one begins. Pay Anywhere was built to help entrepreneurs do what they do best. So keep loving what you do. Just get paid for it. Pay Anywhere.
It all starts with an idea, and everyone has them. In the world of business, where you choose to take your idea determines where your idea will take you. Baker College is proud to support startup and those who dare to share their ideas with the world.